What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Azkhalon, and welcome back to another College Football 26 video. As we wait patiently, or maybe impatiently, for the College Football 26 deep dives, the biggest piece of news coming out of the EA camp right now is that EA is planning to pay schools based on how much their team is used by players in College Football 26. Basically, the more a team is used in the game, the more the team will get paid. What? When I had first seen this information on my social media news feeds, I thought it was just a crazy rumor. But apparently, it is true, as dozens of news sources have confirmed it. An article on Sports Illustrated's website that I found mentions that Matt Lieberman of, is that Click Media, CLLCT Media, I don't know, obtained documents through FOIA, whatever the heck that is, to reveal EA Sports' new payment plan for universities. All 136 FBS schools featured in this year's edition of the game will be compensated based on their popularity and usage in the game. So after seeing that in the article, I decided to look up Click Media, and they seem to operate a collectible site, which will make sense as to how they could possibly obtain such information. The site obtained documents somehow via Freedom of Information Act requests. The Freedom of Information Act is a U.S. federal law that gives any person the right to request access to records held by federal agencies as long as the information does not pose a threat to national security or invade personal privacy, things of that nature. One of the official documents states this: for each college football product released by EA Sports, we, CLC Learfield, will provide a percentage for each institution based on the games played for that institution as a percentage of the total games played across all institutions. This percentage of games played will become the final allocation percentage for each school that will be applied to the total gross royalties for all institutions received. Whew, that was a mouthful, but if you've ever looked at legal documents, they contain a lot of words. They are so wordy, and I think they do that on purpose to confuse people. The CLLCT website, clicked website, offers a sample scenario to kind of break down what I just said. So let's say the total royalties reported in the university pool is $5 million. Then what EA is going to do is they're going to look at the total games played in College Football 26. So let's say there are 700 million games that are played in college football. So let's say one of the schools had 7 million of those games played. Well, that allocation for royalties is 1% because 7 million games played using the school out of 700 million total plays. So that's 1%. So the team will receive 1% of the royalties. So taking the money from that $5 million, the royalties that they will receive will be $50,000, which is 1% of 5 million. So when you kind of see that sample scenario, all that legal jargon, all that blah, 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 kind of makes a little bit more sense. This new royalty system that EA is putting into place is a lot different from the previous system. In the past, royalty allocations for the game were broken down into 4 tiers based on the team's real-life on-field success. Every FBS school that opted into College Football 25, for example, was assigned one of the 4 tiers based on the previous 10 years of final AP poll results. So for College Football 25, EA looked at the years between 2014 to 2023 because the game came out in 2024. When a team finished the year in the AP's top 25, it received 1 point. And so the tiers were broken up accordingly because they were looking at 10 years. So for tier 1, if a team had 6 to 10 points, so meaning they finished in the AP's top 25 at least 6 times over the course of the past 10 years, they entered tier 1. Tier 2 was 2 to 5 points. Tier 3 was only 1 point, and Tier 4 was 0 points. And so the website also contains a graphic to show you which schools were in what tier. So the Tier 1 schools were Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Utah, and Iowa. That makes sense. A lot of those schools are big schools. They're really popular. And then of course you can see the Tier 2 schools there. I'm not going to go through all of those. There are a lot of schools, but some of the schools that you expect to be there, like Florida State, Auburn, Texas, USC, although I expected a few of those to actually land in Tier 1. But you can see the Tier 3 schools there. So like Colorado, South Carolina, Georgia Tech. Those are the ones that stood out the most to me. Arkansas. And then you have Tier 4, which a few stood out to me, like Vanderbilt, Duke, UAB is there, Purdue. These are schools that during that 10-year span did not finish in the top 25 at all. You see Kennesaw State on there, which makes sense because they were a new FBS school. They were FCS previously, so I think their first season was 2024. And so obviously they would not have been in the higher tiers. In the old system, tier 1 schools received around $100,000. Each tier 2 school received around $60,000. Tier 3, $40,000. And then $10,000 for tier 4 schools. So each school in the same tier basically received the same amount of royalties, and it was guaranteed. This new system doesn't seem to guarantee schools a certain amount of money. The whole idea behind the new plan is to provide schools with more NIL funds to pay their breakout stars who are used more in the video game, in hopes of keeping that player on their team for his entire college career through increased NIL money. This makes sense because we've all seen the positives and negatives from all of the NIL stuff. Some people love the NIL stuff, think it's a good thing. Some people hate it. And one huge negative that I've seen from a lot of people online is players jumping ship and transferring multiple times over their college career because of the NIL promises that other schools are offering. Every team apparently opted into the new royalty system, which could be a huge risk, I feel, for those former tier 4 teams that were previously guaranteed around $10,000. The new system grants the possibility of those teams receiving more money than before, but the new system also brings the risk of receiving less money. So there's a possibility that some of these tier 4 teams might make less than $10,000. So that brings me to two thoughts that I have about this entire thing. And it is going to be interesting to see how things turn out. The power of these royalties are essentially in the hands of players now. I could see two things happening with this new plan from EA. The first thing is that the popular schools may take all of the money. I see players complaining all the time in this college football Facebook group that I'm a part of about when they play online, people always tend to pick teams like Alabama, Ohio State, or Georgia. Of course, these bigger teams would opt into the new system because they could receive a fat check possibly from EA. This may seem unfair to the smaller schools that aren't used much in the game, but as we all know, popular programs bring in money. I'm a track coach at a high school without a track, and people constantly, especially the parents of my track athletes, they constantly ask me, why don't we have a track when the football team is getting turf on their field, the basketball teams have 2 gyms, the baseball team has an indoor hitting facility? And my answer to them is that those sports are more popular and they bring in money. They host games, they have tournaments, so they're bringing in money that can be used in addition to whatever the school system might provide. Unfortunately for my track team, we're kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place because we can't bring in any money since we don't have a track. Like, we would need a track to be able to bring in the money. The point I'm trying to make with this is that we may see something similar with this new royalty system. The popular teams will make bank, while the less popular teams may not see much money at all. I've already seen people online, mentioning, hey, Kent State or a school like that, like let's all band together and make sure we play a lot of games as that particular team so they can make a lot of money. And so then that brings me to my second point. On the flip side of that, take a big school like Alabama or Ohio State. Yes, they are wildly popular, but they are also, because they are popular, a lot of people who hate them as well. Fans of other schools that have been constantly beaten by those teams over the past few years, they probably hate them. I could see some people online starting some hate campaigns and trying to get other players to boycott these schools by not playing as them at all in the game. Now, I doubt that something like this would affect these teams' royalties all that much because their popularity will probably outweigh any boycott campaigns against them, but the internet can be a malicious place, and so many people unfortunately are quick to believe and follow what they see posted on social media. I could see some hate campaigns gaining traction against some of the big teams. All in all, this new royalties plan from EA is definitely interesting. Putting the power in players' hands can be risky for schools going forward. I am curious to see how all of this will turn out with College Football 26 coming out soon. It stands to be seen whether or not EA will have to rethink this plan going forward based on any data that they gleaned from the new game. All right, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. More College Football 26 videos coming for you guys in the near future. I can't wait for deep dive trailers. I'm hoping we get those soon. I've been trying to stay online constantly, trying to look for any news so I can know when those deep dive trailers are going to drop. But I'm going to react to all of the deep dive trailers that they drop. If they don't drop it in a trailer, they post it online in a campus huddle. Your boy Azkhalon, I got you. I'm going to make sure I interpret that information that's posted. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos that I post about college football 26. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of the college football 26 news and information that I'm throwing at you guys. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this new royalties plan. Do you agree with it? Do you feel like it's a smart move by EA? Or do you feel like it's a stupid decision by EA to change the royalties plan? Do you feel these schools are dumb for opting in because they may make less money than they were guaranteed before? Or do you feel like it's a smart business move for these schools to opt into this new program? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys in another video, whatever video that may be. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You could have been anywhere in the world, combing the internet for college football 26 news, but you chose to spend some time with your boy Azkhalon, and I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Peace.